Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Showcase. I'm Daniel Stanton.
And I'm Charlotte Sharp. We hope you enjoy tonight's show.
Coming up, I take a look at the newly released movies from fresh filmmakers.
Edgehill students get put on the spot with their favourite film and why.
What industry guests will I be speaking to this week?
I head out to set to meet some aspiring filmmakers.
Well, what a great show we've got lined up. Well, first of all, let's take a look at all the upcoming releases. Run the VT. The first film we're looking at today is called Blake Hunter. It comes from director Josh Blair. Now, this film chronicles the story of a medical student who becomes obsessed with ideas and fantasies about rotting cadavers. From the offset, there's too much dread and therefore nowhere to lead the audience and nowhere for the character to go. Overall, I found this film to be quite lackluster in that it was too grotesque to be called art house and too flimsy to be on par with a Serbian film. But the shots were experimental and perfectly mastered by Blair, and they were crafted. It was just the intentions of the whole film that let it down. Overall, I'd give this film a 2 out of 5 stars.
Charlotte Hunter, Charlotte Green, Charlotte Green.
Open your eyes. Don't let all the moody gliding round fool you. This was actually a very touching tale from director Liz Brown. Rosa Landers also gave a very moving performance. Although it's shot like a 1980s soft rock music video, I was enthralled by Open Your Eyes, the story and the characters involved. Liz Brown was masterful in creating this sublime film, a real tearjerker. At times it was difficult to watch due to the sensitive subject matter, but cast and creative really pulled together to make this a really worthwhile film. The mise-en-scène really lent itself to the whole feel of the picture. Open Your Eyes also boasts one of the bravest, boldest lines in film history I've ever seen.
All you have to do is open your eyes.
Remarkable. From the name Only Girl Productions, I thought when watching After Hours I'd be in for a right college romp. But alas, halfway through I was left feeling impotent and unfulfilled by the script. The whole thing cheeses with a Simon Cowell presents Scum meets Hollyoaks type thing, and the characters are very stereotypical of teenagers. Alas, on a more positive note, the soundtrack was very enjoyable and it gave the film more buoyancy than the script alone. Sophie Eccleshall tried to deliver, but alas, just couldn't. I think After Hours is a rotten banana. I'd give it 1 out of 5 stars. Some sort of rising star.
Wow, exciting stuff. Now, I took time this week to put Edgehill students on the spot. Take a look.
Hi guys, I'm Charlotte and welcome to New Filmmakers Showcase. Today we're on Edgehill University campus where we've asked you, the students, what's your favourite film and why? And here's what happened. So, what's your favourite film?
My favourite film is Lord of the Rings. Can it be a trilogy?
Yeah, trilogy.
Lord of the Rings trilogy.
And why?
I just love it. My favourite director is Peter Jackson, so I love his films anyway, like Inception, but Lord of the Rings definitely, like, because I aspire to be able to do films like that. So,
my favourite adult film is probably Reservoir Dogs. For the simplicity. It's probably the closest thing to being a play in film form, and it very much translates from the original screenplay that was done.
Trainspotting, because it basically depicts the human condition in a very dark, twisted way while still trying to be and remaining quite funny.
Film Into the Wild by Sean Penn, because it's about a guy who's just a complete free spirit and he just goes out and sort of walks the earth for 2 years, and it has a dramatic ending, and I really like that film. Beautifully shot, and he's just the kind of guy I want to be.
Favourite films right now, probably Ted, the Seth MacFarlane one. I'm a big fan of like Family Guy and American Dad and stuff like that, and I think Ted's like a good combination of like it's like a good idea of what if Family Guy was made into a film. So yeah, it's one of my, and it's funny as hell. So yeah.
My favourite film is The Lion King because it's just amazing and I love it, and it's got a really good soundtrack to it.
I love it because my dad took me to see it when I was 2 years old in the cinema when it first came out, and then he took me again when I was like 20 in 3D, just me and my dad.
And I cried.
And it's still one of my favourites because of that.
My favourite film would be Blade Runner. It's an entirely weird science fiction film that's set in the future. You've got crazy robots which are just super powerful, and it's just an awesome place. And I'm not sure I want to live in a dystopian universe, but it's pretty cool.
So, there you have it guys. We asked you the questions, what is your favourite film and why, and you gave us some really good answers. Now, back to the studio.
Some good choices there. So, Charlotte, what's your favourite film and why?
I'd have to say my favourite film would be It's a Wonderful Life. It's just a light-hearted family film. A lot of people think it's just festive, but I think it can be for all year round. It makes you feel good, and I like those kind of films, real soppy. I definitely recommend someone to go see it. What about you?
I'd have to say Apocalypse Now. You got Marlon Brando, a young Martin Sheen, a young Duvall. Just a great story.
Young men. Nice.
Now, let's take an ad break.
Stay tuned for this.
I met on set with these aspiring filmmakers.
And who is guest of the week?
Introducing Micromister, the latest award-winning innovation in the Dissolvit range from Mycal Industries. Microwaves are a vital part of our kitchen life, cooking most things in a matter of minutes. But there is a downside. If only cleaning the baked-on stubborn stains and germs was that quick. Now, with Micromister, it is. Simply cover your microwave plate with small pumps of Micromister foam. Set your microwave to the relevant power and cooking time, and let the power of your microwave do the hard work. Once finished, leave the door closed for 5 minutes. Then, soak a clean damp cloth in the liquid that has formed, and use this as the final part of the cleaning process. Just wipe away the residue with ease to leave a brilliantly clean and sanitised microwave. Micromister makes micro work of stubborn stains and germs in minutes.
Welcome back to New Filmmakers Showcase.
Earlier on in the week, I headed out to set to meet up with some aspiring young filmmakers, and this is what happened. Hi, we're on the set of Blood Loyal. Let's head over and see what's going on.
Three, two, one, Action!
So here we are with the director of Blood Loyal. So tell us, what's the story about?
The story is about a young boy called Will Fletcher, whose brother he is in a royalist patrol, and in order to save his brother from the horrors of the English Civil War, he ends up getting captured by 2 parliamentarian soldiers who take him back to their lines, and the 2 sides will culminate in a final battle, which is Will's only chance of saving his brother.
Cool. And what inspired you to create the story?
Well, I've always been really interested in the English Civil War, and I think it's one of the most pinnacle moments of British history. And so I was just trying to tell the story of the ordinary people that were involved at the time, and we felt this was the best way to go about it.
Cool. And what's been your favourite scene to shoot and why?
It would have to be the scene where Will and the 2 parliamentarian soldiers escape a royalist horse, which was fun to do. To actually have a real a horse on set, and just the rider in costume, and have him galloping towards them and then diving out of the way. It was exciting stuff to do.
So you actually also wrote the script. Do you have any advice for script writers?
Just make sure you've got your story thought out into as much detail as you can, and from there then you can start getting involved in coming up with the dialogue and the characters, but make sure you know your story throughout, and also that you're passionate about the story you're telling. And don't expect to have got it right first time. No matter how many times you write it, there will always be room for improvement somewhere, so make sure you make it the best that you can do.
Great, thank you very much. Good advice there. So here we are with the camera operator for Blood Loyal. So Tom, tell us, what's your preferred settings?
Depends on the situation, really. I mean, my general rule is I like to shoot at 24 frames a second. That's my general rule. But I just like the look. I don't like the television look, so I try to minimise it as much as possible.
Cool. And how's your relationship with the director?
I'd say pretty good, actually. I will be honest. We work together quite well.
I've just taken his news away.
I mean, we have a very good relationship. We discuss everything properly, and we've got a lot to consider because of the time period, etc. So we plan everything quite carefully and make sure we get what we need. So yeah, I'd say quite good.
Good. And say with modern obstacles like objects and things like that, like say for example we just had dogs passing there, and different things. How do you overcome them, and how do you deal with that?
Well, I mean, there's so many different types of anachronism, as the word goes. I mean, things you have to watch, like people wearing watches, people in jogging costumes or whatever, or different breeds of horse or dog, just anything like that. There's so many things nowadays that weren't there in the Civil War. It does make things difficult, so it's just a case of sometimes you just have to ditch a shot that you were going to use.
Cool.
And use something else. But.
Great. And do you have any advice for any people working with cameras?
Well, I'd say that first thing is practice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I basically spent hours sat on the sofa focusing from a TV screen to a TV screen table, to get used to keeping focus and things like that, and racking, and it's basically just get out there and do it. Take photos as well. Do stills, do video, and then because the two, they sort of play off each other.
Hand in hand.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much. So being a supporting parent, you must do an awful lot. So what kind of things do you get up to?
We've done a variety of things. Apart from the fact we provide the corporate hospitality, we've provided beds, settees in some cases, and floors for Nick, who's on and off throughout the night. We've sorted the locations because I know most of the landowners around here, so I've been in contact with them to get the permissions to film on here. I've carried the coffee jug and the made sandwiches, we've made breakfasts, whatever is needed. But we enjoyed it. It's just really trying to help David to do what he wants to do, which is get into film TV production. So anything we can do as parents, we've been trying to do.
That's super. Thank you very much. So, there you have it, guys. You've been on set, you've met the crew, and you can do it too. You can get in contact with us through Twitter, Facebook, or our blog, and just submit your stuff, and we could be visiting you. So the information is just below, and back to the studio.
Brilliant. So, what was it like on set?
It It was really nice, actually. I got to meet 3 of the cast members who were all dressed up in really nice costumes. They had professional makeup artists, they had real swords. Well, I don't know if they're real enough for me. I was in a sword fight. Thought that was pretty cool. There was a budget of £750, which for students is like pretty big. And yeah, they've got a stunt coordinator involved who worked on Gladiator and Saving Private Ryan. So that's massive. It was just a really good day out and really good experience, and I'm glad I got to interview them.
Interesting, interesting. Well, sadly, this is the last part of the show, but we've got something special to end on. It's time for Guest of the Week. What's been the best and worst experiences?
I think the worst experience is when it's coming up to a deadline and anyone who's in the post department is going to end up doing a couple of all-nighters. The best experience, I said before, is probably when it's actually you get the fruits of your labour.
Do you think it's fair to say that the majority of continuity errors are blamed on the editors, and if so, why?
I don't think any continuity error is usually an editor's fault because we've got the most time to look at it. So if you're making a continuity error, then you probably deserve to have your hands wrapped. But usually it is coming from the set, or yeah, it is usually from the set. It's not usually an editor's fault, but they do usually take most of the blame for anything that goes wrong. Obviously, it's the last person in the line of the production, so everything kind of rests on the editor's shoulders.
Do you have any tips for any aspiring or budding filmmakers?
Yeah, if you want to go down the writing your own stuff and making your own stuff, that's probably a good way. Or if not, if you want to actually get in to the industry and do it, the established way, then just work as much as you can for free. And it's unfortunately it's not what you know, it's who you know. So you just got to try and network as much as you can and just keep at it.
And finally, what's next for yourself, Kyle?
Next, we've got 2 productions coming up at the place where I normally work in the summer, and until then I'm trying to figure out whether to keep doing corporate stuff or move up to Newcastle and do a month or 2 up there on a BBC production, but I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure.
Well, thanks for joining us.
You're very welcome.
That's all for now, but if you want to catch up or watch mini webisodes, then visit our Twitter, Facebook or our blog.
And thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.